Have you ever wondered why some people seem to have a quiet, unshakable sense of peace, no matter what life throws their way? Could it be that the key to their tranquility lies not in what they share, but in what they choose to keep private? In today's world, where sharing every detail of our lives has become second nature, Buddhist wisdom teaches us something profound. Not everything is meant for the public eye. In fact, there are certain aspects of life that flourish best when they are nurtured in silence. Buddhism encourages us to protect these sacred parts of ourselves, not out of secrecy or fear, but to preserve their purity, allowing them to grow away from the noise and judgment of the outside world. Why is it important to keep certain things private, and how does doing so benefit our spiritual journey? In this exploration, we'll delve into the Buddhist teachings that reveal the power of privacy and how guarding these 7 aspects of your life can lead to greater mindfulness, emotional stability, and spiritual depth. 1. Your spiritual practices. Spiritual practice in Buddhism is often referred to as a deeply personal and inward journey. Whether you practice mindfulness meditation, Buddhist chants, or daily affirmations, this practice is not something to boast about. Spirituality is an internal process, one that connects you with your higher self, brings inner peace, and leads to enlightenment. It is about peeling away the layers of ego, illusions, and desires that cloud your true nature. When you openly share your spiritual journey, it can sometimes become tainted by ego. You may unconsciously begin practicing for the sake of validation or praise rather than genuine self-growth. By keeping your spiritual practices private, you nurture them in their purest form. It allows your connection with the divine or the inner self to remain untainted by external forces. This privacy also lets you avoid the trap of comparison, freeing you from thoughts like, "Am I doing enough?" or "Are others more advanced than I am?" Buddhism teaches that the journey to enlightenment is personal and each person moves at their own pace. The more private your practice, the more you can genuinely connect with your soul and find your path without distractions. 2. Your good deeds. Buddhism, like many spiritual traditions, emphasizes the virtue of generosity and kindness. However, the Buddha taught that true giving must come from a place of purity, without expectation of reward or recognition. This is the essence of dana, the practice of selfless giving. When you perform acts of kindness, whether it's offering help to a neighbor, donating to charity, or simply offering a listening ear, it is best to do so in silence, keeping these deeds to yourself. When good deeds are shared publicly, the ego gets involved. You may begin to seek praise for your generosity, transforming an act of compassion into a way to boost your own image. This diminishes the spiritual merit of the deed. The more you seek validation for your actions, the more distant you become from the purity of selflessness. In the Buddhist tradition, there is a beautiful story that illustrates this principle. The Buddha once praised a poor monk who offered a small, meager bowl of rice to a starving stranger. The monk did so in complete secrecy, without telling anyone. It wasn't the size of the offering that mattered, but the intention behind it. It was a selfless act, free from the need for acknowledgement or admiration. This pure act carried immense spiritual merit. Keeping your good deeds private allows you to cultivate genuine compassion, free from the need for recognition. In doing so, you not only help others but also nurture a deep sense of humility and selflessness within yourself. 3. Your challenges and hardships. Suffering, or dukkha, is central to Buddhist teachings. The Buddha himself explained that suffering is an inevitable part of life, but it also serves as a profound teacher. While it is natural to seek support from friends or loved ones when facing difficulties, broadcasting all your challenges can often bring more harm than good. When we openly discuss our hardships, we may unintentionally invite unwanted advice, judgment, or pity from others. In some cases, people may use your vulnerabilities against you, leading to more suffering rather than alleviating it. Keeping your personal challenges private gives you the space to process them from within, to find strength and resilience without the interference of others' opinions. This practice also allows for emotional maturation. By sitting with your pain or struggles in silence, You give yourself the opportunity to reflect on the root causes and potential lessons embedded within those hardships. This self-reflection is key to growth in Buddhism, as it fosters detachment from the causes of suffering and cultivates a deeper sense of peace and acceptance. It is important to remember that keeping hardships private does not mean suppressing them or avoiding help when needed. Rather, it encourages discernment, knowing when to seek support and when to work through challenges on your own, using the teachings of mindfulness and self-awareness as your guide. 4. Your financial situation. Buddhism encourages detachment from material possessions, understanding that they are impermanent and often lead to suffering if we become too attached to them. Your financial situation, whether one of abundance or struggle, is something that, in Buddhist wisdom, is best kept private. Discussing your financial status openly can lead to unnecessary complications. If you share your financial successes, you might provoke envy or resentment in others. If you talk about your financial struggles, you could invite judgment or even pity. Neither scenario fosters healthy relationships. By keeping your financial situation private, you allow yourself to remain grounded in the understanding that wealth is impermanent and your value as a person is not defined by how much money you have or don't have. Keeping this part of your life private also protects you from becoming overly attached to wealth or possessions. Buddhism teaches that attachment to material things is a source of suffering. By cultivating detachment and not seeking validation or sympathy through your financial situation, you align yourself more deeply with the Buddhist principle of non-attachment, allowing peace and contentment to grow within you, regardless of your financial state. 5. Your personal relationships. Relationships are one of the most delicate aspects of life. Buddhism emphasizes mindfulness, compassion, and loving kindness, metta, in relationships, whether they are romantic, familial, or platonic. However, these relationships can become complicated when we expose them too much to the outside world. In the age of social media, many feel compelled to share every detail of their personal lives. This not only puts undue pressure on the relationship but also invites opinions, judgments, and advice from people who may not fully understand the dynamics of the relationship. Keeping certain aspects of your relationships private allows them to develop in a more authentic and peaceful way. It protects the intimacy and sanctity of the bond you share with the other person. When you keep your relationships private, you give them the space to grow without the interference of external forces. You can navigate the complexities of the relationship more mindfully, without feeling the need to conform to societal expectations or the opinions of others. This practice nurtures trust, respect, and deeper emotional intimacy within the relationship. 6. Your plans and goals. Buddhism teaches the importance of non-attachment to outcomes and practicing patience in our endeavors. Sharing your plans and goals too early can sometimes backfire. When you announce your intentions to the world, you may attract unwanted attention, advice, or even jealousy. This can create pressure to succeed not for yourself, but to meet the expectations of others. There is a saying in Zen Buddhism, "The quieter you become, the more you can hear." This applies to the quiet nurturing of your goals as well. Keeping your plans private allows you to focus fully on the present moment, the actions you need to take, without being distracted by external opinions or desires for approval. Moreover, maintaining privacy around your goals teaches you the practice of non-attachment. By focusing on the process rather than the outcome, you allow yourself to grow, learn, and adapt without becoming overly fixated on success or failure. This detachment creates a sense of inner peace, as your self-worth is no longer tied to whether you achieve your goals in the way you originally envisioned. 7. Your inner thoughts and emotions. One of the core teachings of Buddhism is mindfulness, particularly mindfulness of one's thoughts and emotions. The Buddha emphasized the importance of observing our inner world without judgment and learning to cultivate inner peace through understanding and awareness. Not every thought or emotion needs to be shared. Our inner world is complex, filled with fleeting thoughts, feelings, and sensations. Broadcasting these thoughts too readily can often lead to misunderstanding, unnecessary conflict, or regret. By keeping your inner thoughts private, you give yourself the space to process them fully before reacting or sharing them. In Buddhism, this practice of inner silence is known as right speech, one of the components of the Eightfold Path. Right speech encourages us to speak only when it is necessary, kind, and true. By keeping many of your thoughts and emotions private, you avoid the pitfalls of impulsive reactions, and you cultivate a deeper sense of self-awareness and control over your emotions. In practicing this kind of mindful privacy, you nurture your emotional and mental well-being, fostering a sense of calm and balance that can positively impact all areas of your life. In a world that often encourages openness and sharing, the teachings of Buddhism offer a reminder that privacy can be a powerful tool for spiritual growth and inner peace. Keeping these 7 aspects of life, your spiritual practices, good deeds, challenges, financial situation, personal relationships, plans, and inner thoughts, private allows you to cultivate mindfulness, humility, and self-awareness. By protecting the sacredness of your inner world and not letting external distractions and judgments influence you, you create a safe space for true spiritual development. In doing so, you can live a life that is grounded, peaceful, and deeply connected to the core principles of Buddhist wisdom.